Yo, you are not gonna believe what just hit the streets. The rap game is on fire right now, and not in a good way. We're talking betrayal, secret phone calls, and a potential snake move that's got fans questioning everything they thought they knew about loyalty in the trenches. Word is, Lil Durk might have just got caught up in some shady business involving King Von. And y'all, it's messy. Sources close to OTF say some private phone combos just leaked. And what's on them? Man, shocking don't even begin to cover it. Accusations are flying, fans are crying, and Durk's camp is staying real quiet, which only got people talking even louder. Was this all a setup? Did Durk really turn his back on Von before his death? Or is somebody out here trying to frame the voice of the streets for a betrayal so deep it could tear the whole OTF legacy apart? This ain't no clout chase. This is reality check time. Strap in, because what we're about to break down will have you questioning everything. When the whispers first started, nobody paid them much attention. People in the industry talk all the time. Rumors come and go. But this time, something felt different. It wasn't just noise in the streets. It was a chill. A cold feeling like something deep was brewing beneath the surface. And now, as leaked phone recordings begin to surface, fans everywhere are starting to connect dots they didn't even know were there. Lil Durk, the face of OTF, might have been hiding a betrayal so big, so personal, that it's shaking the entire legacy of King Von. And y'all, it all starts with a phone call. So here's how it really popped off. A mysterious Instagram burner account started posting cryptic messages last week. Nothing crazy at first, just vague things like, "He ain't who y'all think he is," and "Truth about Von and the voice coming soon." People brushed it off. Clout chasing maybe, until they dropped a 30-second clip. Audio. A voice that sounded just like Lil Durk, talking about Von, but not in the way you'd expect. In the clip, Durk's voice sounded tense. "I told him chill out, bro was doing too much. We got labels watching, we got the feds on our neck. He ain't listen." Then another male voice responds, "So you saying it had to be done?" And Durk's voice goes quiet for a second before he mutters, "I ain't say that, but you know how this go." The internet lost it. Blogs started eating it up. Reddit went into full conspiracy mode. People started pulling up old interviews, old tweets, even Von's lyrics, trying to make sense of it all. How could Lil Durk, the man who put King Von on, who repped him like a brother, be caught on tape talking like that? Was he involved in Von's downfall? Or was it just tough love taken out of context? But it didn't stop there. More clips started dropping. The account claimed to have over 2 hours of private convos between OTF members, industry execs, and even alleged conversations between Durk and Von himself. And in those convos, the tone wasn't just business. There was tension. Real tension. Something had been broken long before Von's tragic death. And the fans, man, they felt betrayed. "I knew something was off ever since that tribute song," one fan tweeted. Durk didn't even sound emotional, like he was going through the motions. Another posted a screenshot from an old Instagram live, where Von looked annoyed, side-eyeing the camera as Durk joked in the background. "Bro was trying to tell us the whole time," the caption read. Behind the scenes, insiders say the OTF camp went into full lockdown mode. No interviews, no statements. Durk stopped posting. His close friends started acting different. DJ Bands, who's always been vocal about OTF business, suddenly went ghost, and that only made the fans more suspicious. But the real twist came when one of Von's cousins, who's stayed mostly silent since his passing, decided to speak out. And what she said had everybody shook. "Von told me straight up before he died," she said in a live. "He didn't feel safe no more, not just in the streets, around his own people. He said fame changed everybody. That money made folks greedy. He ain't trust nobody." Viewers flooded the comments. "She talking about Durk? Is this about the leaked calls?" Von saw it coming. Now here's where it gets even deeper. Remember that club appearance Durk cancelled 2 days before Von's death? At the time, folks said it was scheduling conflicts, but these leaked convos suggest otherwise. One clip had a voice that sounds like Durk saying, "I ain't going out there, too hot. Von moving reckless." If something happened while I'm there, it's on me. And just like that, the questions got louder. Did Durk know something was about to happen? Was he trying to distance himself or protect himself? We reached out to multiple sources close to both camps, and while nobody would go, on record, one person who used to work security for OTF said this: "I can't say too much, but let's just say Durk wasn't surprised. He was hurt, yeah, but surprised? Nah. He'd been knowing Von was a ticking bomb. It was just a matter of time." The betrayal narrative took off. People began to look at old footage with new eyes, like that one music video where Von's chain shines brighter than Durk's, and fans now claiming Durk looked jealous. Or that live session where Von hinted at snakes in the circle, and folks think he was throwing subliminals. Some fans, though, ain't buying it. They say this is all fabricated, that someone's trying to tear OTF apart. Durk loved Von, one supporter posted. "You're just looking for drama. This internet stuff dangerous. You'll go and get somebody, hurt playing detective." But others ain't letting it go. If this was just clout, why they got all these real clips? Why Durk ain't deny it yet? Silence is loud, bruh. And as more alleged calls surfaced, one stuck out. It was a woman's voice, talking to someone who sounded like Durk. She says, "You gotta make a move. You can't keep letting him wild out like this." And Durk responds, "I already told folks, if he get touched, it ain't on me." That line right there. If he get touched, it ain't on me. Man, that sent shockwaves. Twitter exploded. Blogs started calling it the smoking gun. And still, no response from Durk. Meanwhile, King Von's sister Kayla B posted a cryptic tweet. "Funny how the masks always fall off eventually. No names, no hashtags." But people connected the dots quick. What made this mess even wilder is how divided the fanbase became. Some turned on Durk instantly, saying he sold out, sacrificed Von for success, and switched up for the mainstream. Others defended him, saying he tried to keep Von safe and that the streets just caught up to him. But everyone agreed on one thing: something ain't adding up. And just as fans were still processing all this, another twist came out the blue: an alleged voice memo from Von himself. Yep, you heard that right. A voice memo. Now, before you think it's fake, the person who dropped it said it came straight from Von's old phone, which was given back to family after his death. And on it, Von is talking to someone about trust issues, saying, "Man, sometimes I feel like folks want to see me gone. Even the ones I came up with. This fame short weird. I don't know who real no more." And then, silence. The voice fades out. Just like that. And that's where things get even crazier, because, and then, silence. The voice fades out. Just like that. But even that little clip was enough to spark a wildfire. Fans flooded the internet, saying the message felt like a man who knew his time was short, who knew people close to him weren't really for him. Some even started comparing Von to Tupac, another artist who died young, surrounded by fame, enemies, and betrayal from within. And now, people were putting Lil Durk in the role of Suge Knight, the one who should have protected him, but maybe didn't. Overnight, the term Durk betrayal trended on Twitter. YouTube was flooded with reaction videos. Bloggers dug up Von's last Instagram lives, where he looked distant, even paranoid. People pointed out how he had stopped hanging with certain OTF members weeks before his passing. And now, all those little red flags were starting to form a pattern. But it wasn't just fans reacting. Behind closed doors, Von's family was reportedly furious. Someone close to his uncle allegedly said, "They ain't gonna speak too loud yet, but they know what's up. They know Von was on edge for a reason." Kayla B, Von's sister, started liking tweets calling for truth and justice and posted another cryptic message: "All money ain't good money. You're gonna learn." People immediately assumed it was directed at Lil Durk, especially since she unfollowed him on Instagram the next morning. But the drama wasn't just online. Behind the scenes, something even more explosive was happening. Sources say Durk's legal team started reaching out to pages that were posting the audio clips, threatening cease and desist orders. Now, if it was all fake, why would lawyers be involved? That only fueled the fire. And then, another bombshell dropped. A producer from Atlanta who claimed to have worked with both Durk and Von posted a blurry screenshot of what appeared to be a text convo between him and a third party. The text showed someone saying, "Durk warned me a week before it happened. Said he wasn't surprised. Said he tried to stop it." The post went viral. And even though the producer deleted it within minutes, it was too late. People screenshotted it, shared it, dissected every word. And suddenly, a new narrative was forming. Maybe Durk didn't directly set Von up, but maybe he knew something was coming and didn't say enough to stop it. Now let's pause right here for a second. Think about how deep this runs. We're talking about two brothers from the same hood. One helped the other get out, get signed, build a brand. But somewhere along the line, trust shattered, tension built up. And now the streets are asking, did loyalty turn to rivalry? And then came the interview. A Chicago street figure who's been around OTF since the early days, let's call him Mello, decided to speak out. In a late-night Instagram live with only a few hundred viewers, he let it all out. "I've been saying this for years," Mello said. "Von was never Durk's lil homie like y'all thought. They was cool, yeah, but once Von started buzzing, things changed. Durk ain't like how fast Von rose. And Von, he started noticing too." Mello went on to say that Von had become the star of the streets, and that made a few folks uncomfortable. Von had that energy, that pull. The trenches loved him. The labels wanted him. And when you get that big, people close to you start moving funny. He also claimed there were meetings happening. Label execs, management, lawyers, all without Von in the room. They was trying to figure out how to control the beast, he said. Von wasn't playing the game. Durk was. And that's where the problem started. It was the kind of statement that couldn't be proven, but felt too real for fans to ignore. And when someone in the comments asked if he thought Durk had something to do with Von's death, Mello paused, then said, "I ain't say that, but I know what silence means, and I know what guilt looks like." That line sent chills across the chat. Meanwhile, Durk still said nothing. Not a post, not a denial, just complete silence. And to fans, that silence screamed volumes. But let's not forget, Durk has always played the long game. He doesn't move off impulse. Every action, every post is calculated. So his silence, maybe it was strategy, maybe it was fear, or maybe it was guilt. But just as things looked like they were spiraling out of control, someone unexpected entered the conversation. Asia Doll, Von's ex, and someone who had a front row seat to the emotional chaos between Von and his inner circle, posted a long thread. And what she revealed had people's jaws on the floor. "Von told me he felt used," she tweeted. "He said people smiled in his face but plotted behind his back. He said once he got hot, the love got weird. And I believed him." She went on to say that Von felt boxed in, that he was being pushed to play a role he didn't want anymore. He was tired of beef, tired of losses, but certain people needed him to stay active. One tweet in particular blew up. He knew who was really riding for him and who was just riding his wave. Fans took that as confirmation. Not just that Von felt isolated, but that he knew who was secretly hoping he'd fade out. And people started looking at Durk's old interviews with suspicion. In one Breakfast Club appearance from months before Von's passing, Durk was asked about his artists. And when he mentioned Von, fans now noticed how he said, "He hard-headed, but I let him do him." People took that as shade, but the biggest twist came late one night, when another audio dropped. This one was longer, almost 2 minutes, and this time, it wasn't just Durk talking. It was allegedly a three-way call between Durk, his manager, and someone from the label. And in it, they're discussing Von's rising street activity, his refusal to play by the label's rules, and how his behavior was becoming a liability. "We can't keep cleaning up after him," one voice said. "Press already sniffing around. If he catch another charge, the label gone back out. Then Durk's voice, more frustrated this time. I told bro to chill. I done gave him every warning. If he crash, he crash. I can't stop him. The internet blew up. Some fans defended him, saying he was being honest. Others, they said it sounded like someone who had already washed his hands. And just like that, the debate reached a fever pitch. Was Durk a concerned friend who tried everything to save Von? Or was he a businessman who saw his rising star as a threat and let the streets take care of it? And as fans demanded answers, the truth remained buried. Because right when people thought there were no more layers left to peel, a new name got dragged into the mix. A name nobody expected. A new name got dragged into the mix. And it wasn't just anyone. It was Memo 600. Now, if you've been following OTF since day one, you already know Memo 600 ain't new to drama. He's had a rocky history with the crew. 1 minute he's repping OTF hard, next minute he's throwing subliminals, unfollowing people, and going live talking slick. But now, his name is being brought up in leaked convos, and people are saying he might have known way more about Von's situation than he ever let on. It started with an Instagram live where Memo seemed heated. No names were mentioned, but he said something that sent fans into a frenzy. I told Shorty to watch who we keep around. Everybody smiling in your face don't want you to win. Some of these folks got agendas. People instantly started connecting the dots. Shorty, he had to be talking about Von. And those folks with agendas. The internet decided that meant Durk. But then it got crazier. A clip from months ago resurfaced. Memo on Clubhouse, talking reckless about how somebody was gonna crash out if they ain't get their mind right. In the clip, someone asked him, "You talking about Von?" And Memo stayed quiet for a beat too long before saying, "I ain't say no names, you said that." Now people started digging up everything. Old lives, tweets, even dams from fans who claimed Memo had warned them something was coming before Von's death. And suddenly, this wasn't just about Durk and Von anymore. It was about the entire OTF structure, and who knew what, and when. Then, out of nowhere, a new player stepped into the conversation, the Beizu. Beizu, another OTF affiliate, had stayed pretty quiet through most of this drama. But now, he was being mentioned in the same breath as Durk and Memo. In a new leaked call, this one between an anonymous source and someone with a voice very similar to Beizu. He's heard saying, "Bro was getting too loud, too wild. He ain't. Wanna listen?" Durk did what he could, but at the end of the day, folks groan. It was that last line, "folks groan," that hit different. It sounded cold, dismissive, like they'd already written Von off before the streets ever did. Fans reacted immediately. One tweet said, "They all knew. This some modern-day Julius Caesar Von got stabbed by the ones he called family." People started referring to Durk, Memo, and Beizu as the OTF triangle, with claims that they were the inner circle who moved strategically to distance themselves from Von once he became a risk. But why? Why would Durk, Memo, and possibly Beizu turn their backs on the one dude who gave OTF its street credibility? Some say it was business. The label was fed up with Von's drama, his court cases, the heat he brought everywhere he went. Others say jealousy played a role, that Von was becoming bigger than the whole crew, and Durk ain't like that. One Reddit user wrote, "Von was the people's champ. He had the story, the image, the music. He was going up too fast. Durk probably felt like he couldn't control him no more." And then, another twist. A former assistant to an Atlanta-based music executive posted anonymously that meetings had happened, real ones, where Von's name was discussed as a high-risk artist. According to them, there were talks of possibly shelving his next project until he could prove he was focused. The assistant claimed that Durk was present at one of those meetings, and during the convo, he allegedly didn't push back much. Instead, he said, "We gon' let things play out. Can't force nobody to grow up." Again, silence being used as a weapon, but it wasn't all one-sided. There were people who felt like Von did start moving wild toward the end. People pointed to his ongoing beefs, his ops list growing longer every week, his tendency to respond to every little diss online. They said Durk tried to save him, but Von didn't listen. Still, others weren't buying it. They said Durk had the power to protect Von, but chose not to. That he benefited too much from Von's death. The tributes, the viral posts, the sympathy, the new album sales. Fans started calling it pain marketing, saying Durk used Von's death to boost his own image. One viral TikTok even compared Durk's album rollout right after Von's death to a funeral tour. Clips of Durk crying, performing Von's name, on stage, dropping tribute bars, all set to a sad instrumental with text over it saying, "a good friend," or "a smart businessman." The comment section, divided. "You'll forget Durk lost his blood brother too. Stop acting like he heartless." Versus, "Nah, bruh, this industry cold. Durk played it smart. Von was a liability, simple." But even more shockwaves hit when an alleged ex-member of Von's original Day One crew, someone not affiliated with OTF, spoke out in a long Facebook post that got screenshotted and shared everywhere. In the post, they wrote, "Von used to tell us, if anything ever happened to him, don't look at the ops first, look at who's still eating after he gone. Chills." People went back to Von's last tweets. One of them read, "Watch how they move when you stop feeding them." It had over 1 million impressions before his death. Now it was being interpreted in a whole new light. And the final straw? Von's mom, who had stayed completely silent throughout all the drama, posted a black screen on her story with just one word: loyalty. No other context, no caption, no pictures. Fans lost it. Is she talking about Durk? Is she confirming everything? People started tagging Durk relentlessly, demanding answers. His Instagram comments were flooded. Snake emojis, questions, people telling him to clear it up or fall off, and still, nothing. Not a word, not a post, not even a denial. And that silence? Man, it started turning people against Durk faster than ever before. It wasn't just about Von anymore. It was about the perception that Durk was hiding something. And as the smoke built up, people started wondering, was there more to this story than just betrayal? Was there a deal behind closed doors? Something that none of us were supposed to find out, because just when everyone thought this couldn't go any deeper, an entirely different voice surfaced. A familiar voice. One that hadn't been heard since all of this started. And what he had to say could flip this whole story upside down. An entirely different voice surfaced. A familiar voice. One that hadn't been heard since all of this started. Lil Ree. Yep, the Grim Reaper himself. Known for always being around during the early Chicago drill wave. Lil Ree was there when everything was raw, when there were no labels, no bodyguards, no rollout plans. And now, after months of silence, he popped up on a surprise Instagram live and started dropping what felt like cryptic, but very real, statements. And y'all, what he said made this whole story even murkier. "A lot of y'all speaking on stuff y'all don't even understand," he said. "Ain't everything what it looked like. Sometimes the ones y'all blame be the ones who tried the most." He didn't name names. He didn't confirm the calls. But the way he said it, the tone, the timing, you could hear that pain in his voice. "I lost bros too. But don't let that internet make y'all turn on each other. It's snakes in the shut, but not always the ones y'all think." And just like that, the comments went crazy. Is he defending Durk? Was he warning us? Is this bigger than OTF? An OTF? People started speculating that maybe, just maybe, there was another layer to all of this. What if Durk wasn't behind anything, but instead being set up to look guilty? What if someone inside the circle, someone with access to calls, clips, and messages, had been leaking this info to tear the whole empire down from the inside? A new theory started forming fast, and this one had fans torn all over again. A burner account posted a thread saying, What if Von had a traitor in his own camp feeding info to the label, and that's how these convos got recorded? What if Durk's silence is fear, not guilt? The thread went viral. Hundreds of comments, thousands of shares. People started turning their eyes toward OTF's management, folks nobody ever paid attention to, the background people, the ones with access to phones, schedules, conversations, and suddenly, Durk wasn't the only one under fire. But just when fans were starting to soften on Durk again, another shocking moment brought all that heat right back. A never-before-seen video clip of King Von appeared on a private YouTube channel with less than 100 subscribers. It was quickly reposted across Instagram and Twitter, but the video itself was unnerving. Von is sitting in a studio. The energy is calm. He's laughing, talking, just being himself. And then, the camera turns off him for a second. Someone off screen says, "They said Durk ain't coming tonight." Von's face changes instantly. His smile fades. He shakes his head, looks down, then says quietly, "He don't come around no more." The room goes silent. The person behind the camera laughs awkwardly and says, "He busy, bro." But Von doesn't respond. He just sits there, staring at the floor. The energy in the room, completely different. And that short video, just 38 seconds long, was enough to light everything on fire again. He knew, fans said. Look at his face. He felt abandoned. Others said, nah, that's brotherhood tension. It happens. Y'all turning emotions into conspiracies. But that wasn't all. The person who uploaded the video, their account was deleted less than an hour later, completely wiped off the internet, gone, which only made people more suspicious. At this point, even the mainstream media started catching wind. Complex ran a headline, "Mystery surrounding Lil Durk and King Von resurfaces as leaked content goes viral." Shade Room reposted some of the audio snippets, and one of Durk's closest business partners posted a story saying, "I don't care what y'all say. I know what bro been through. You're gonna regret speaking on the dead like this." It felt like the walls were closing in, but the real explosion came just a few days later. When Lil Durk finally broke his silence, he posted a single black and white photo, no caption. It was him and Von, back in the early days, sitting on a porch, hoodies on, chains tucked. Just two kids from Chicago before the fame. The comment section exploded. "What you trying to say? You miss him or you guilty? Posting this ain't enough." And then 3 hours later, a tweet. "I ain't gotta explain what real ones already know." Fans were divided once again. Was that tweet him brushing off the accusations? Was it shade at Von's family? Or was it just a reminder that he's still standing, still moving, still watching? Whatever it wasn't enough to cool the fire. Von's fan base, strong and vocal, kept the pressure on. They demanded Durk sit down and clear the air. Go on live, do an interview, say something real. But insiders claim Durk has a reason for staying quiet. Legal moves behind the scenes. Allegedly, his team is preparing a full statement, and maybe even legal action, against those spreading false and manipulated audio content. One source even said Durk's team believes the voice clips were chopped up to push a false narrative. But if that's true, why not say that up front? And here's the thing. Nobody can shake. The emotion behind all this is real. Whatever is fake or exaggerated, there's no denying the heartbreak. Von's family lost someone. Durk lost a brother. The fans lost a legend. And now, what's left is confusion, bitterness, and unanswered questions. And it's not just about Von anymore. It's about loyalty. It's about fame. It's about how quickly the industry can turn friends into suspects, and how silence can be louder than 1,000 tweets. As it stands now, Durk hasn't made another post. Von's family hasn't issued a statement. The audio leaks have stopped, for now. But people close to the situation say this is far from over. You'll think this. Messy now? One anonymous source said, "Wait till you see who talk next. Somebody gon' fold. And when they do, everything gon' change." So what's the truth? Did Lil Durk betray King Von? Was he protecting him or distancing himself? Did someone inside the camp leak these calls to frame Durk? Or is the truth more painful than anyone wants to admit? That sometimes, no matter how hard you try to save someone, you just can't. So here we are. After all the clips, the convos, the cryptic tweets, and the emotional silence, the question still lingers in the air like smoke in a closed room. Did Lil Durk really betray King Von? Or is this one giant misunderstanding fueled by grief, timing, and internet detectives piecing together fragments that were never meant to tell the full story? One thing we do know, this situation is way deeper than rap. It's about brotherhood, trust, and how quickly the game can twist people's loyalty when fame and money come into play. Whether Durk was guilty of betrayal or just guilty of survival, fans are divided. The OTF legacy has been shaken. And King Von's story? It still feels unfinished. But maybe the saddest part is this. Von's not here to speak for himself. And the people who are still here, they're either too scared, too hurt, or too strategic to tell the whole truth. And that's what hurts the fans the most. No closure, no honesty, just silence. So now we ask you, what do you think really happened between Lil Durk and King Von? Was it betrayal or business? Was it a misstep or a setup? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what side of this story you believe. And if you've got your own theory, don't hold back. Let it out. Who do you think leaked those calls? Who do you trust in this story? And don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you don't miss part 2 if this story explodes even further. This ain't over. Not by a long shot. We'll be watching the comments closely. And remember, in this game, everybody's smiling until the masks come off. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.